Hi, welcome back. Have you ever felt like it's so easy for you to get started? You felt so motivated, you felt so enthusiastic about your English learning, but then after months or two, you're done. Your motivation has worn off. You're no longer passionate about this language anymore. You find it to be quite a chore. You find it to be boring, repetitive. You don't want to look at it anymore. So why is that a case? I've come up with quite a few different reasons, but I want to kind of focus on the solutions in today's video. So it could be that you have unrealistic expectations for yourself. You think that you have a very clear goal, but it's actually not very concrete. I have a lot of students approaching me telling me that their goal of learning English is to be able to use it with a native speaker. But what do you mean by that? What are you using the language for? Are you going to live in the country? Do you only need to be familiar with some daily conversations, or are you going to study at a university? So you would need more than daily conversations. You would need to know the proper academic English, how to present yourself in a kind of formal situation, how to do a presentation, how to do a speech, and things like that. Or are you using it for business? So all those things will decide exactly how well your language should be and what aspects you should focus on. And sometimes I do find that people are learning English for the wrong reasons. Sometimes people just learn English because their friends are doing that, or it seems to be a trendy thing online. But they don't actually have any intentions with this language in their personal life. So they have no actual motivation, exterior motivation for them to become good. There's no reward for it. And, a lot of times I've seen a lot of students, they spend a lot of time learning about how to learn the language, but they don't actually want to do the work. They want to be on social media all day long, watching all these videos, reading through posts about what other people are saying about English learning, all the techniques and little things that you can do, but they never put the phone down and get to work. So they keep pushing it off, they never really get started, and therefore there's no progress. And last but not least, I think that a lot of people might have been brainwashed by the internet. When you search how to improve English, all the videos that come up top are telling you that you can do that within 30 days, within 2 weeks. Just do this one thing and then your spoken English will be so great that you wouldn't be able to recognize it yourself. We get brainwashed into thinking that English learning is something that can be done within a very short amount of time. English, like any other skill, it takes time and it takes a lot of practice. Then again, depends on how good you want to become. That decides how much time you will need. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get anywhere without doing any work yourself. So if you have been any of the things that I was talking about, or if you have run into moments like that, here are some solutions for you to think about. First of all, make sure you do have a concrete reason for learning English. Other people's reasons are not yours. Just because learning English is trendy, is what everybody seems to be doing online, it doesn't mean you have to be doing it as well. You need to have a very specific reason and very specific goal in mind when you decide to pick up your English book, start improving your English. Otherwise, you're not going to get too far, because very soon after the honeymoon phase, you'll lose that enthusiasm, you'll lose that motivation. You'll find that this whole thing ends up being a waste of time and you're not getting anywhere. So you need to have a very specific goal set for yourself. For example, a specific goal is not that, I want to be able to speak English really well. That's not specific at all. A specific goal is that I want to learn how to do English presentations in class at universities. Or I want to learn how to write emails to my clients overseas. Or I want to learn how to carry on very daily conversations about things that we would run into on a day-to-day basis, like going to a hospital, booking an appointment, booking a reservation, things like that. Second, be realistic about where you are. and use some common sense when you're devising a study plan for yourself. You're not anybody else. So other people's solutions probably won't solve your problems that easily. You have to be realistic with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself, what you're doing right and what you have not. There is not a single strategy that's going to work for everybody. And even if somebody tells you that there is, don't believe them. It's not. Everyone has their own problems. And the whole point of having teachers is so that they can look at your own English skills. They can provide suggestions regarding your mistakes and your problems. Third, get right to it. Consistency is all. You're not going to improve your English by mindlessly scrolling through hundreds of videos online. You're not going to improve your English that way. You can only improve your English by practicing it, by reading in English, speaking in English, writing in English, listening in English. You have to do it all for you to actually experience that progress. And nobody can do that for you. You're all alone by yourself. You have to be the one to do all the work. Fourth, get feedback. Get as much feedback as you can from your friends, your teacher, or anyone you can find that is qualified to give you feedback on your practice. If you want to be able to write decent emails to your colleagues overseas, you need to ask somebody to read your emails and give you feedback. Give you suggestions on what you did right and what you didn't. And same thing with your spoken English, right? If you just keep practicing yourself, it's going to be very hard for you to recognize your mistakes and correct them, because chances are our knowledge of this language is not at the level that enables us to. And last but not least, like I've mentioned so many times, you really do need to update your goal as you move forward. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results every time, right? As you move forward, as you get better and better, you need to adjust the particular practice or exercises that you do regularly, and you need to change your goal accordingly. For example, if you want to improve your listening, initially maybe listening to some audios or video files that's 1 to 2 minutes long. But once you have no problem understanding that, move that up to 3 to 4 minutes or even 10 minutes long. And if you have no problem understanding the whole 20-minute speech, change it to something else. Change it to some TV shows that, the pace of speech is faster. Or change it to some news where you might run into some new vocabularies. You have to keep challenging yourself. And this is kind of similar to working out. If you keep doing the same thing years and years, you're not going to see any, significant changes to your body, because your body no longer takes it as a challenge. So same thing here. We need to challenge our brain all the time. At the end of the day, learning is not a static process. It's a very dynamic process that requires you to be really smart about it. And simply because you've spent the time, it doesn't mean that you are going to progress as you expected. It depends a lot on how that time is spent. So no wishful thinking. It's not a guessing game or a game of luck. It's actually a very natural process. When you do the right practice for the right amount of time, progress will come and you will achieve your goal, whatever that is. It really is not rocket science.